Greetings and welcome. Now, one of my favourite guests was on Question Time this week. Did you see it? Did you see Question Time? Julia Hartley-Brewer. Now, of course, Julia, more commonly known for informative talks about women and penises on Talk TV.
Some people with penises think they're women.
How many women have penises?
Nobody's saying whether or not a man's got a penis or a woman's got a penis.
Do you know any women with penises? No.
You're a doctor. Can a woman have a penis?
Do you know any women with penises?
Whether a woman has a penis.
And then if he's still got a penis, he's a biological man, he's not a woman.
And of course they don't have a penis.
Women don't have penises.
Now, Julia is on to let us know that we shouldn't be listening to 99% of scientists across the world, and we should be listening to her about climate change.
I don't want to just stop oil, I want to keep oil, I want to keep gas and fossil fuels. The reason why we live the lives we do in the West in the 21st century is, thank God, for fossil fuels, which delivered the Industrial Revolution. I would like that Industrial Revolution delivered to everyone around the world.
Of course. I don't think it's got anything to do with Rupert Murdoch that pays a multi-million pound salary for Talk TV. The oil and gas tycoon, the fossil fuel magnet that is Rupert Murdoch. I'm sure it's got absolutely nothing to do with that at all. Julia's just obviously more intelligent than the 99% of scientists around the world.
So, Julia, when you've got the UN saying, as Ahmed is referring to, that there's no credible pathway now
it's
to
a complete
reach
load of nonsense. That's not backed up by the latest IPCC.
Okay, well, listen,
it is
I
a load
don't
of nonsense.
Maybe you know better than the UN. This is what the UN are saying, and that the current policies
publicly
may lead to 2.8 degrees
It won't.
warming this century.
Those climate models have been exposed as complete nonsense again and again and again. They are the most extreme end of the scientific models contained in those IPCC reports.
Should we have a little look, Julia? Should we have a little look at these IPCC reports that you keep quoting? 95% probability that humans are involved with warming of the planet. If only gas and oil companies got out the way, we can tackle climate change. Urgent action needed now. I mean, this is the report that you just quoted, the IPCC. I mean, are you just banking on the fact that no one's going to fact check your IPCC reports that you keep quoting?
But the point is, even if it were true, even if it were, would that necessarily be an issue? But that's aside the point for the kind of protests we're seeing. Because I think the issue here is you've got a lot of very entitled middle-class people who've led a very nice life.
Do we know they're middle-class people?
They pretty much are, actually, yes. I think we do. They want to stop other people living good lives.
Yeah.
If you want
have you
to
been checking them out individually,
if you want to have limits on people's ability to access fuel, you want to make it more expensive to get a plane abroad, to use a car, to heat your home, you are going to be harming poorer people, and you're going to be harming poorer people in the developing world. In my view, these people are not just, I think they're tantruming toddlers who've clearly never been told no by their parents. I think it's time we told them no. I think they are deeply, deeply immoral in what they're doing.
It's the developing world that's saying this has got to
stop.
Isn't saying it's the developing world that's saying we're on fire.
They're really not. The world is not on fire, and the world is not going to die.
Really, Julia? Really? I mean, forest fires through Europe and America twice as common as they used to be. Literally parts of the Middle East unlivable. When Julia's not talking about penises and women on talk radio, she's quite common. She's quite partial to talking about immigrants coming over.
Let's talk about channel migrants. Talk about the migrant issue. This is an ongoing issue. Does it matter that we've had already 20,000 illegal channel migrants coming across to this shore? Huge number of migrants. 33,000 are known. That's just the ones we know about.
See, this just seems to be even more obvious to me now, from someone that's supposed to be really concerned about immigrants and refugees coming to this country. I think you should be a bit more concerned about climate change, because when parts of Central Africa and the Middle East become unlivable, where are these people going to come, Julia? They're going to come here. So to me, it kind of seems like really you don't actually give a shit about migrants coming over, and you know that your rubbish that you talk about climate change is utter nonsense. But really, the only thing you actually care about is that big fat check from Rupert Murdoch. I mean, it's just coming more and more apparent now, isn't it?
And we're not going to die. This is catastrophizing stuff that is not actually in the scientific sections of the IPCC reports. It's not.
And there wasn't a pandemic.
Hang on.
Sorry. Of course there was a pandemic. Of course there was a pandemic.
Science is all subjective, and it's...
No, she's laughing there. She's laughing at Amanda Iannucci comparing her climate change denial to pandemic denial, but it's exactly the same thing. You're just ignoring the evidence for opinion. It's the same thing with flat Earth. It's the same thing with we didn't put a man on the moon. It's all the same stuff. And what frustrates me actually with this whole question time segment is I really wish they'd just got a scientist on. They've done it in Australia. I've shown the clip before of Brian Cox on a panel in Australia, their version of Question Time, where he's against these politicians that are obviously being paid by oil companies to say that fossil fuels have got nothing to do with climate change, and he's a scientist. You can't argue with him.
This is now a clear global problem. The absolute consensus is that human action is leading to an increase in average temperatures. Absolute consensus. I know you may try to argue with that, but you can't.
No, not may, I will. And I'm absolutely stunned that someone who is inspired by Richard Feynman, a fantastic scientist who believes in empirical evidence, is quoting a consensus.
Can I just say, I brought the graph, right? I mean, can you just...
First of all, that the data has been corrupted, and we know that the 1930s were warmer than today.
Yeah. Corrupted? What do you mean corrupted?
Been manipulated.
By who?
By NASA. By the
NASA?
Yes.
And this is what it comes down to. I mean, I played that clip before when I was when I was taking the piss out of Jim Davidson on GB News trying to be a climate change expert. When this is what it boils down to. I will always believe 99% of scientists, or just one, just Brian Cox. Brian Cox's opinion on climate change, or Julia Hartley-Brewer's. Every single time I'm going to believe Brian Cox. And if you don't, you're a moron. You're an absolute moron. Now, even if you're right, Julia, even if in some crazy circumstance you're right and fossil fuels has got nothing to do with the warming of the planet, you do realise that fossil fuels are not infinite. They will run out at some point. We need alternatives. We can't keep relying on fossil fuel. There's only a certain amount of oil. Latest experts reckon that with probably about 30 years on the current resources that we got of oil left. So even if you're right, we still have to find alternatives. And, you know, this just proves what her motives are. Her only motive can be a paycheck from Rupert Murdoch. Otherwise, everything she talks about is a complete lie. Her obsession with migrants coming over is a complete lie. She'd be concerned about climate change if she was concerned about migration to this country. It's utter bollocks. And I guess the question I want to end this video with is, does it do good to show someone like Julia Hartley-Brewer on Question Time? Because when I watch that, I see how ridiculous people like her and her views are. But what she does do quite well, and what you may have noticed in the interview earlier, is she does the rallying cries to the right in this country, the tarring the brush with these protesters, the Just Stop Oil protesters, as middle-class students, and straight away they get people listening to that, they get the alarm bells like, oh yeah, I hate middle-class students. Oh yeah, well I like my car, you know, and then you got them on side. So that's my question to you. Please put it in the comments down below. Do you think having Julia Hartley-Brewer on Question Time is good for getting people knowledgeable about climate change, or bad? That's what I'll leave you with. Till next time, take care.